Have you ever wondered what it really takes to get a home off of fossil fuels and go all electric? Well, today we're going to break down the real-world story of one homeowner's incredible journey to create a net zero home. We're talking the good, the bad, the hurdles, and of course, the final payoff.
It always starts with the why, right? For Sarah, a homeowner in Illinois, this wasn't some sudden decision. It was a dream she'd had for years. It was about aligning her home with her personal values. This was her motivation, the thing that would keep her going.
Okay, so it's one thing to have the dream, but how do you actually do it? What are the real steps, the costs, the things that nobody tells you about? Well, Sarah's story gives us a fantastic real-world roadmap.
So how does a dream like this start to become a reality? For Sarah, the perfect opportunity kind of fell into her lap. Her 100-year-old bungalow needed some major upgrades anyway. And that was it. That was the moment her big environmental goal met a very practical starting point. All right, so with the motivation locked in, how did she actually plan this massive project? I mean, this wasn't just about swapping out a light bulb. This was a complete transformation of her home, and it absolutely required a solid strategy.
And wow, this was a comprehensive plan. She started right at the source, generating her own power with a solar PV system on the roof. Then she went after the biggest energy users in the house, heating and cooling, replacing them with a super efficient heat pump. From there, it was the water heater, the clothes dryer, even the cooktop. Everything was a deliberate step away from fossil fuels.
And here's a really crucial point. This did not happen overnight, not even close. As you can see from the timeline, this was a methodical, patient approach that spanned over 5 years. It started with solar back in 2019, tackled the big systems over the next few years, and is still continuing with appliances today. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
You know, you don't take on a project like this alone. Sarah was smart. She built this amazing support network. It was a mix of everything: professional help from contractors and an electrification coach, but also advice from friends who'd already done it and info from online communities. She even used her own spreadsheets to keep everything straight.
Of course, no big project is without its challenges. But what's so interesting about Sarah's story is that the biggest obstacles, they weren't what she expected at all. They weren't technical problems, but something way more personal.
See, Sarah was totally prepared for things to break or for an installation to go wrong, but the actual tough part, it was the mental load. It was the constant research, learning a whole new vocabulary of technical terms, and trying to figure out all the complicated incentive programs.
And it all boils down to this one idea: decision fatigue. It's that feeling of just being completely overwhelmed by all the choices and information. Honestly, recognizing this emotional hurdle is one of the most important lessons from her entire journey.
All right, let's talk about the big question: the money. A total home makeover like this has a serious price tag, right? But there are also some major ways to bring that cost down. So what did the bottom line really look like for Sarah? There it is. The total investment was over $70,000, spread out over those 5+ years. And yeah, that's a really substantial amount of money. It shows you the scale of this commitment, but that is not the whole story.
And here's the crucial part: how she managed that cost. Sarah was brilliant at stacking different incentives: federal, state, and local. The federal tax credits took a lot of planning, but they were worth it. State rebates were there for different appliances, and she said the Illinois solar program, which lets you sell renewable energy credits, was surprisingly simple. Altogether, these made a huge dent in that total cost.
So after all those years of planning, investing, and navigating that decision fatigue, we finally get to the payoff. And the results were incredibly satisfying, affecting everything from her utility bills to her own peace of mind.
Let's start the payoff with just one number: 80%. It's a massive figure, right? But 80% of what?
That's the payoff for the planet, an incredible 80% reduction in her home's carbon emissions. This is where that dream of living her values became a concrete, measurable reality. It's just amazing.
And the benefits didn't stop there. Her home is now physically more comfortable, the indoor air is cleaner, and yep, her utility bills are noticeably lower. But maybe the biggest reward of all was intangible: that powerful feeling of alignment, knowing her daily life finally matched her core beliefs.
So what's her final verdict? Despite all the hurdles, she is a huge advocate for electrification. Her journey proves that with the right support system, a patient mindset, and a good plan, this ambitious goal is definitely within reach for a lot of people.
Ultimately, Sarah's story is an incredible roadmap.
It shows that going net zero is a marathon, not a sprint, and it's filled with challenges but also some amazing rewards. And it leaves all of us with a question to think about. What could the first step on your own journey look like?